Another important tourist circuit in Cusco is the beautiful sacred valley of the Incas, the Vilcanota River Valley.
That means that the property of those lands and the mountains are communal. Those mountains are not private. No, those holes was made by birds. Both sides of the cross. Because that symbolizes marriage.
What?
Marriage.
You.
Pisac, 1 hour from Cusco, is a small village on the banks of the Vilcanota River. Mountain and following a winding road is the archaeological complex of Pisac, the remains of the ancient capital of this valley.
Looks a long way down to the bridge.
The most striking thing about Pisac are its terraces, which made it possible to farm in steep terrain.
Being in touch with nature, they knew that plants had their uses, from the cactus, the flower, and even eucalyptus trees.
Moving along narrow paths, we come to the neighborhood of Intihuatana, the most important of the complex. Here we find temples dedicated to various gods, most notable being the Intihuatana, or solar calendar, located in the central part.
Jost,
Yeah?
think you want to go now?
Yeah.
It's gonna rain. Come on.
Getting lost on the mountain terraces didn't help.
Many ceramic and textile artists whose works are exhibited and sold at the famous Pisac market live here.
Europe lived on turnips before they discovered the South American potato. Then there are cacao leaves for chewing and for tea. There are literally hundreds of varieties of potatoes and corn.
There are many small villages along the length of the Vilcanota River that are known for their excellent fruit and vegetable production.
like a honeycomb. The worker class cemeteries was just the mummy size. They used to put the mummies in the fetal position, you know. Not far away, that's why I asked to stop here because it's closer. And we could see, you know, how Incas used to build. Used to cure the skin of animals and get the leather. Or say they used to cure the body of the dead people. Incas could win the enemies for more than 100 years. Chancas. Before Spaniards, Incas had many enemies.
A few kilometers beyond is Ollantaytambo, a true living Inca town that maintains and utilizes constructions from the past.
Indians. And those people use the coca leaves that he has in the back. He throw it on the table and he has taken some coca leaves and left around. And they watch the coca leaves and say, you had 2 babies. How they could know? They never knew her. But these shamans, they say, you know their explanation? Says that the earth is all one piece. And the earth is like God that knows what happened in the earth. So they just talk with the, could you please let it pass there? The step should be like this. As the front of church. It's not a big jump.
On the other mountain is the figure of the ancient mythological character Tunupa.
Who has a beard?
Above this are Inca granaries.
Across the gate and all is enclosed. This area was the religious zone. And what we see in the mountain is where was located the storage rooms. If you analyze storage rooms and the religious zone, the temples, high up in the mountains because of the 2 basic things to protect for Incas. I'll show you what is. It's cactus. What they did is take the cactus juice here. Why? Because finally those people nowadays, these archaeologists recognize that what Incas did was something good. And to make the clay that they used to use to join those stones, they used to mix clay with cactus juice to protect, to avoid that enemies could get easily to the temple zone. You see? They look at this wall, look at the rock.
After climbing a seemingly endless staircase, we finally reach the top to find the Temple of the Sun, constructed of enormous stones.
The massive rocks were transported from the other side of the Vilcanota River. The Andeans knew a lot about soft metals, such as gold and tin, but little about hard metals, such as iron and steel. So how were these rocks sculptured? To precisely interlock so that volcanic eruptions could not destroy these structures.
Our body is like a sensor that could feel the energy. That time, since kids, they used to training people who has facilities to feel the energy. There, they used to make this mummification process. Leave the body in that water for some time, and after some time they used to put in that stone to drain.
Springs of sacred water.
Section of the stone was broken, so they put those stones here. But that's not how it be. I feel like this. In the same piece of stone, the three sides. Yeah.
Mi alma sin mente no se no quiero perder.
The ancient sites could have provided communications all along the sacred valley. Back to street versatile, it is now a flea market.
I got sperm in the mood.
Oh,
Usually when I'm feeling.
Look up. Look straight at me.
Pardon?
Oh, that's better.
I'll come and sit here.
Ah, really? Oh, lovely.
Come on.
No. Cool. There's our breakfast on Christmas Day.
Pardon?
There's our breakfast on Christmas Day.
part of the Cusco skyline from our apartment. The focal point of Cusco, Plaza de Armas, originally called Hoy Carpata. In a museum, we found evidence of brain surgeons. As in Nazca, the eyes are framed. The condor. we stumbled on yet another festivity in the square. A hike up to Kolkampata. Here we find the remnants of an Inca palace. San Cristobal. An ancient aqueduct.
Hello.
From a bar overlooking the square, we watched the sunset and the activities. It is easy and cheap for youngsters to tour Peru. And then dinner with the delicacy of the Peruvians, the guinea pig.
I like the carrot legs, man.
Yeah.
Huh? With alright. Yeah, fine. Yeah, I will. He's taking poke.
A cultural evening at the local theatre. The Andean musical instruments consisted mainly of reed instruments and percussion. Spanish introduced instruments such as the guitar.
One of the most important tourist attractions in Cusco is, without a doubt, Machu Picchu. The journey is made by train from San Pedro Station. After passing Tika Tika Arch, we cross the plain until arriving at Huaracondo. The train enters the sacred valley of the Incas, crosses Pachar, and reaches Ollantaytambo. The journey advances to the edge of the jungle, always following the Vilcanota River, until arriving at the village of Machu Picchu, or Aguas Calientes. The village has all of the creature comforts and magnificent thermal baths. A few minutes later is the final destination, the marvelous city of Machu Picchu. The classic view of Machu Picchu is seen from its highest point just before entering from the Inca Trail. The lost city of the Incas rises on the edge of the jungle. It was scientifically discovered by the American explorer Hiram Bingham in July 1911. Lower down is the Sun Tower, a place of cult worship and astronomical observation. Below this is a sacred cave. On one side of the tower are water fountains, and very close by is the house of the Inca Pachacutec, the most important of the Inca emperors and master of this mysterious city. A few more paces to the north is the sacred plaza, the main temple, and the temple of the three windows. At the top of a narrow stairway is one of the most beautiful places in Machu Picchu, the Intihuatana. This sacred stone was an important element in religious and astronomical observations. In the esplanade, which is the main plaza, we can take a rest and absorb the magnetic energy of this sacred place. Next on the walk is a small patio containing La Roca Sagrada, or Sacred Rock. One of the biggest adventures of this trip is climbing Huayna Picchu. On a narrow path, we go forward and begin to climb until arriving at the top, to be rewarded with a magnificent view. In front of the Intihuatana is the neighborhood of the Sun Virgins. There are also workshops and food storehouses. Next is the Masons neighborhood. Here in these giant mortars, we find some of the most unusual stonework in Machu Picchu. Just how it was done, no one knows for sure. A few steps to the south is the neighborhood of the condor, with its unusual representation of this sacred bird of the Incas. The agricultural zone is separated from the city proper by a small wall. It consists of terraces and the dwellings of the farm workers.
After the guided tour, we rested and spent the night in the village below. 400 meters below, the Vilcanotto River loops around Machu Picchu. The winter solstice sunrise falls on the back wall for 20 days.
It's the two ways round.
Hello, this all goes on.
Stylized rock
Yeah.
carving of the condor.
We have more paparazzis here.
The Intihuatana, the hitching post of the sun. shaped to form a visual tracing of the mountain skyline behind it. A hike up Huyana Pishu, the mountain that overlooks Machu Picchu. Showing off terraced gardens a long time ago.
Oh, well done.
At the equinox and solstice, the morning sun shines through the 3 windows onto a strategically located rock. This carved stone represents the Southern Cross. The morning sun in May projects an image of the Lama's head. Rolf Muller, Professor of Astronomy at Potsdam University, dated the original site between 2000 and 4000 years BC, based on star alignments that have been etched on the rocks, therefore older than the 2500 BC Egyptian structures.
How pretty, isn't it? Look at that corner there.
After having toured the whole city, we find the visitors inundated by an incomprehensible feeling of tranquility, energy generated by the past that is only found here, but that travels through time, harmonizing with the contented souls that brought them to Machu Picchu. The reason is incomprehensible for building a city in a place such as this. Perhaps it was a challenge to the imagination, to strength, to organization, to faith. Perhaps it was a terrible punishment, a fabulous prize, a memorable reminder, a fantastic whim. But it's evident that the beauty of Pachamama caused a collective ecstasy in these people that inspired their art and drove their energy. Then, from stone on top of stone, surged the delirious walls that are there, challenging the centuries and forming part of a fantastic dream from which the generations have not yet woken.
Rewind from our base in Versatile Street. Cusco, the Puma City. The merger of cultures. Machu Picchu, an experience of a lifetime, with significant astronomical features. Phenomenal Andean engineering. Roads from north to south along the Andes, and structures that withstand earthquakes. They had vision, storing grain for possible years of drought. Irrigation systems are everywhere. Communications throughout the world, and in a very advanced language. They also communicated with above. Food for thought, rewinding into the past.